Habari za saizi ndugu wanafunzi wa form 1. Saizi tunaenda kujadili au tunaenda kudiscuss topic moja, ni sehemu ya topic ambayo ni decimals. So we are going to learn today the topic so called decimal. So as to start, this is our topic in mathematics form 1. Decimals. So before we have gone and discussed this thing, first we have to know the definition. What does it mean by the term decimals? What do we mean by saying decimals? So in definition, so we can say that decimal is the fraction whose denominator is a multiple of 10. So this one is the definition of decimal. That is the fraction whose denominator is the multiple of 10. And what does it mean? That means when we have been given as example here, that when it is maybe 1 out of 10, if we change this into decimal place, so it will be just 0.1. So and that's why we say that 0.1 is in multiples of 10. It can come another number that we can just be given another fraction that maybe it is 1 out of 100. This now still it is in multiples of 10. That will be 0 if we change into decimal, 0.01. You see? So this is why we say that all decimals are of multiples of 10. Also the other example in which is 1 out of 1,000. This one also, if we change it into decimal, will be equal to 0.001. So and all other decimals, they have the same behavior, they have the same properties. So and that's why in general we say that decimals are the fractions whose denominators are multiples of 10. So far after now knowing that what is the meaning of decimals, now we move ahead. We have to see the things associated with decimals. For example, consider this example. How can I read this? How can I identify this? For example, it is 0.1. We say 0.1. So what is this one? This one. 0 is called the whole number part. This is whole number part. Now this point here we show here, it is called decimal. It is called decimal point. Then this one here, this one is called fractional part. So the decimal number has 3 parts. We have the whole number part, which is now here, for example, it is 0. And then we have decimal point. This is point here we see, it is called decimal point. And the other to the right side number is called, all numbers on the right side from the decimal point, they are called the fractional part. So these 3 are the parts of the decimal. Any decimal should have 3 parts, as we see here. On the left side, numbers are called, before the decimal, they are called whole number part. This is called the decimal point, and the right side numbers, from the decimal point, they are called the fractional part. So after knowing this, after knowing all this, so let's go and see the other. How can we read? Or how can we write the decimal point into, or decimal number into words? For example, we have been given, this thing, 0.3. How can we read this one? 0.3 is read like this. We say that is read as 0.3. But also we can just be given this one, 4.71. How can you read this? Is read as 4.71. So one thing to notice that, dear students, when you have been given the decimal number, and you have been told to read it, you have to read this way, that all numbers, we say that the digits representing the fractional part of the decimal are always read singly. That, for example, all digits on the part of fraction are read singly. That means, for example, this 71, the two numbers or the two digits are on the part of fraction. So when we are reading, we supposed to read singly, one digit after the other digit. Do not read them in general, or do not combine them as other numbers. They are read like here. We can just say that 4.71. We don't say that 4.71. No, that's not allowed in mathematics. So all digits on the fractional part, decimals, are read in singly. That 4.71. Yes. So for today, this is just introduction of definition, how we have understood what is this decimals, and also what are the things associated with the decimals. But in the other section, then we are going to see how we can solve questions related to the decimal numbers. Thank you.